The House will come to order. The Pledge of Allegiance this morning will be led by Elizabeth Donisi from Holstrom Elementary in Thornton. Please take the roll. Thank you, Elizabeth.
Representatives Becker, Buck,
Elizabeth.
Buckner, Conti, Representative Conti,
Welcome. Nope. 2 lawyers. I'm not putting up with that.
absent. Quorum. Representative Conti is present. Court. Del Grosso. Dorr. Duran. Everett. Absent. Exum. Fields. Fisher. Foote. Garcia. Gardner. Giroux. Janal. Hamner.
Here.
Holbert. Hollinghorst. Is it? Humphrey. Joshi. Kagan. Krafttharp. Representative Krafttharp. Labuda.
Oh,
Landgraf.
can I do a top 10 list? I got a top 10 list.
Lawrence.
Bob Gardner.
Lebsock.
I don't know.
Lee.
If I have it with me.
May.
All right, what was yesterday? Do you have the little paper?
McCann. Representative McCann. Absent. McLaughlin. McNulty.
Good morning, Corey.
Melton. Mitch Bush. Moreno. Murray. Representative Murray. Absent. Navarro is excused. Nordberg. Pamone. Peniston. Pedersen excused. Primavera. Priola. Rankin. Rosenthal. Who'd you say? Oh. Representative Murray is present. Ryden. Sane. Salazar. Schaefer. Scott. Singer. Sonnenberg. Stevens. Representative Stevens. Absent. Swam. Absent. Zabo. Tyler. Behill. Waller. Williams. Wilson. Wright. Present. Young. Speaker Farinino. Yeah. Yeah. Everett, McCann, Smallman, Stevens. What? Everett, McCann, Smallman, Stevens are still unaccounted for.
Sure. Thanks. Thanks, Mr. Leader. What do you need?
With 59 members present, 2 excused and 4 absent, 3 absent, 60 present, a quorum is present. Representative Waller.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Members, could I have your attention, please, for a very, very, very important motion? Mr. Speaker, I move that the reading of the Journal of January 23rd, 2014 be dispensed with, and that it be approved as corrected by our Chief Clerk, Marilyn Edens.
You've heard the motion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The motion is adopted.
The aye has it. Thank you. Thanks. Nice job.
Announcements and introductions. Representative McNulty.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I ask for permission to be excused from 11 to noon today. I have spoken with the Majority Leader and the Minority Leader.
Would you like to be excused longer?
That depends. You want to go with me?
Depends on where you're going.
Grab a couple of beers?
Oh, maybe.
Okay.
We'll talk later.
We'll start. How about we start with from 11 to noon today?
Okay. Representative McNulty be excused as requested. Further announcements and introductions. Representative Sonnenberg.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, today is auction day at the stock show for the junior livestock sale. Now, actually, I'm kind of excited because you guys haven't put as much money as I thought you would, so it's going to cost me less than I thought. Oh, now you're reaching into your purses. Here we go. Make Sonnenberg hurt. I will still match those dollars for today, members, for the livestock sale. If you would like to go see it tonight, I believe it's at 6:30. There's a reception beforehand, or you can watch it on the news. Oh, thank you for that pain, Majority Leader. Members, thank you for your help. Thank you for your support. Don't be afraid to get that money to me for the auction. Thank you.
Further, Representative Mitch Bush and Hamner for a ski report, I assume.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good morning, colleagues. It is once again Friday, and it's a bluebird weekend, predicted all weekend in all our ski areas of Colorado. In Vail, we have a fantastic base like nowhere on earth. In Beaver Creek, home of the Birds of Prey downhill course and giant slalom course, we also have a huge base, blue skies, and in Steamboat, home of true Western family hospitality, the best tree skiing on the planet, blue skies, and lots of base.
Representative Hamner.
And thank you, Mr. Speaker. What she said, and also one more reason to head on home today and then head up to the mountains this weekend. Hope to see you up there. Thanks.
Representative Primavera.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I've been asked by Quest Diagnostics and the 9 Health Fair to announce that they will be here at the Capitol on January 29th from 7:30 a.m. to 10 a.m. to do blood screenings and blood pressures and that kind of thing. It'll be in the media room in room 326. There is some fasting requirements, so if you want to take care of this really good program, read the flyer that's on your desk. Thank you.
Representative McLaughlin and Hamner.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We want to announce that the people from the 4-H Club are here in the building. I think some of them are in the audience. We want to give a special shout out to the Gunnison 4-H. Those of us from that area know what a distance it is to travel here to visit with the people in Denver. And welcome to Denver and the Capitol.
Further announcements and introductions. Representative Melton.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And if I can get the chambers.
Members, can we have your... Turn that on. Members, can we have your attention at the well for a tribute?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you, members of the chamber. Today, we just wanted to do a quick memorial tribute. Today marks the 50th anniversary of the passing of one of the members who actually passed away while in office. His daughter is here. His name was Robert C. Roan, Jr. He was born on March 21st, 1927 in Cheyenne, Wyoming. He served in the United States United States Army with distinction in the South Pacific during World War II. He graduated from the University of Denver and received his law degree from that university. He was admitted to the bar in 1956, and he was actually considered one of Colorado's greatest attorneys. In 1996, the Colorado Lawyer Journal considered him one of the 6 greatest lawyers in terms of his work that he did towards civil rights. Representative Roan characterized that Denver was a city considered to be one of invisible discrimination, that black access to public accommodations and housing was restricted, as well as employment and political participation. It became his lifelong struggle to eliminate those conditions in the American political landscape. And so in doing that and realizing that, he realized that the political process was essential to the struggle for justice. Representative Roan managed to be selected by a vacancy committee to the House of Representatives in 1964. Unfortunately, shortly after he was admitted into the chamber and shortly after that legislative body began its work, he passed away suddenly from a blood clot after only 2 weeks of service. During that 2 weeks, though, he did have one bill that was passed that expanded upon the penalties for bribing police officers. And then actually after his death in 1964, during the time of his burial, cemeteries were actually still segregated, and so he was not allowed to be buried with with many of the other representatives of the time at Fairmount. So he was moved over to Fort Logan, where there was not segregated burials, and because of his service in World War II. And so today, being that he passed away on January 24th, 1964, marks this 50th anniversary of his passing, and so we wanted to make sure that we recognized him and also his daughter, who is here in the chamber, who was actually only 10 years old at the time of his passing, Ms. Tamara Roan. And so today we have a tribute that says that the memorandum the House of Representatives convened the 69th General Assembly hereby extends sincere condolences and expressions of sympathy to the Roan family on the 50th anniversary of the passing of Representative Robert C. Roan, Jr. 50 years ago, on January 24, 1964, the community of Denver and the state of Colorado lost an exceptional citizen. Representative Roan served as a member of this body for a short time, but his ability and integrity made a lasting impression. His service and leadership, both inside and outside the Capitol, were highly regarded. The members of the Colorado House of Representatives expressed heartfelt sympathy to the family and friends of Representative Roan on this anniversary of his death. His positive impact and countless lives will never be forgotten. So we thank you. And thank you, members.
Seeing no further announcements or introductions, we'll move on to the next order of business. Consideration of resolutions. Mr. Kohler, please read the title to wherever you are, Mr. Kohler. There you are. Please read the title to H.R. 1004.
House Resolution 1004 by Representatives Foote and Humphrey, also Senator Nicholson, concerning emergency management and connection. House Resolution 1004 by Representative Hollinghorst.
Where's the goat?
Yeah, concerning.
He needs to move.
A change to the rules of the House of Representatives regarding the referral of bills allocating additional legislative staff resources to the Legislative Council as a committee of reference.
Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move House Resolution 1004.
Please proceed.
Thank you. This resolution conforms the House rules to the changes made to the Smart Government Act by 1299 in 2013. It specifically amends the committee rule H.R. 25, allowing bills allocating additional legislative staff resources be referred to the Legislative Council as a committee of reference, and repeals references to interim committees studies created by bill or joint resolution, since House Bill 13-1299 repealed that process. And members, this bill is a companion bill to another one that we'll see in a minute that deal with the changes that were made by House Bill 1299 and deal primarily with interim committees and review by committees.
Is there
I
any,
ask for a yes vote. Thank you.
any further discussion? Seeing none, is there any objection to taking a voice vote? Seeing none, we'll proceed in that manner. All those in favor of H.R. 1004 say aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. The H.R. 1004 is passed. Co-sponsors. Close the machine. Mr. Kohler, please read the title to HJR this time, 1004.
House Joint Resolution 1004 by Representative Hollinghorst, also Senator Heath, concerning changes to the joint rules of the Senate and House of Representatives in connection with conforming the joint rules to the changes made to the State Measure for Accountable, Responsive, and Transparent Government Act and repealing the joint rule on capitalization in bills.
Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move House Joint Resolution 1004.
Please proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And I also move Amendment .001 to HJR 1004.
Members, this is a multi-page amendment. It is on your desk and was on your desk yesterday. It's also displayed on the screen. Please proceed, Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This amendment does three things. It clarifies some issues that came up as we were reviewing this proposed rule change. For purposes of the committee oversight responsibilities specified in Joint Rule 25, the amendment divides the divisions of the Department of Regulatory Agencies between the House Business, Labor, Economic, and Workforce Development Committee and the House Health, Insurance, and Environment Committee. Second, the amendment restores both the House and Senate Finance Committee's oversight responsibility over the Office of State Planning and Budget. It removes duplication of committee oversight, but clarifies that, one, the House Health, Insurance, and Environment Committee has responsibility for overseeing the Departments of Public Health and Environment and the Health Benefit Exchange. And second, the House Public Health Care and Human Service Committee has responsibility for overseeing the Department of Human Services and the Department of Health Care Policy and Financing, but requires that the three Senate and House health-related committees meet together as a joint committee of reference when conducting their oversight responsibilities. And I ask for a yes vote on L001.
Is there any further discussion on the amendment? Seeing none, is there any objection to taking a voice vote? Seeing none, we'll proceed in that manner. All those in favor of Amendment L001 to HJR 1004 say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. Amendment is adopted. We are back to the resolution. Representative Hollinghorst.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And this resolution also conforms the joint rules to the changes made by the SMART Act of 2013. Specifically, it amends the deadline schedule, JR 23, to remove references to interim committees
and interim studies. Hold on one second, Madam Majority Leader. Members, we are working and doing resolutions. Can you please return to your desks? Thank you. Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I know this is just really, really interesting. And I appreciate your attention. But I really do want to let you know what changes are made here, because it does affect how you propose interim committees, so it is important. Specifically, it amends the deadline schedule, as I said, and it confirms the joint rule on sponsorship of bills, JR 24, to address the sponsorship of interim committees. Bills that legislators may sponsor in addition to their 5-bill limit. It reduces the number of bills an interim committee may recommend from 8 bills to 5 bills. It establishes a deadline schedule for requesting interim committee studies and for the Legislative Council's prioritization and approval of them. It conforms the oversight responsibilities of committees of reference and repeals the requirement that committees of reference conduct annual hearings during the first weeks of the legislative session to review department budget. And it repeals also, as an added parentheses, the capitalization of bills, and that doesn't refer to capital development capitalization. That's big T versus small t capitalization. I ask for a yes vote on HJR 1004.
Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, the question for the House is the adoption of HJR 1004 as amended. Is there any objection to taking a voice vote? Seeing none, that will proceed in that manner. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. The resolution is passed. Co-sponsors. Madam Majority Leader? Oh, close the machine. Thank you. Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that the House proceed out of order for consideration of special orders of the following bills. They're found in your calendar under Monday, January 27. House Bill 1020, House Bill 1074, House Bill 1059, and House Bill 1031. And we will take up special orders at 9:25 on this day.
See no objection. The bills listed by the Majority Leader will be made special orders as of 9:25 today. Now it is 9:25. That time having come, Mr. Assistant Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move the House now resolve itself into the Committee of the Whole for consideration of special orders.
Seeing no objection, the House will resolve itself in the Committee of the Whole for consideration of special orders. Representative Pabon will take the chair.
Come to order. With your unanimous consent, the bills will be read by title unless there is a request for a reading of bill at length. Committee amendments will not be read unless requested, as they are printed in your bill folders. Floor amendments will be shown on the screen and on your iPads and not read unless requested. Bills will be laid over upon motion of the Majority Leader. The court rule is relaxed. Mr. Kohler, will you please read the title of House Bill 1020?
House Bill 1020 by Representative Lebsack, also Senator Balmer, concerning the consolidation of 2 reports on taxable property that county assessors submit to their boards of equalization.
Representative Lebsack.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd like to move House Bill 1020. This is a fairly straightforward, good government efficiency bill. We're combining 2 dates, reporting dates for the assessors into 1 date, and I ask for the the body's approval.
House Bill 1020 has been properly moved. Is there any further discussion on House Bill 1020? Seeing none, the question before us is the passage of House Bill 1020. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. House Bill 1020 passes. Mr. Kohler, please read the title of House Bill 1074.
House Bill 1074, by Representatives Court and Del Grosso, concerning payments that a nonprofit owner of a tax-exempt property may receive for reasonable expenses incurred without affecting the tax-exempt status of the property.
Mr. Minority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move House Bill 1074 and the committee report from Finance.
To the Finance Committee report.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Members, basically, we're just expanded the definition of expenses to say that it is accordance with generally accepted accounting principles, and I urge an aye vote.
Is there any further discussion on the Finance Committee report? Seeing none, the question before us is the passage of the Finance Committee report. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. The Finance Committee report passes. To the bill. Mr. Minority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And members, House Bill 1074 was a work of several months of the Nonprofit Association and a bunch of nonprofits. Representative Court had some nonprofits in her district bring an issue to her over the summer. Some as well in my district had actually brought some of this to me over the summer as well. Lo and behold, we were both working on the same bill at the same time and didn't know. So we decided there's no reason to run two bills. We'll combine forces. And then this was a bill that was unanimous out of committee and is something that is widely supported by the nonprofit community, and I urge an aye vote.
For, Representative Court.
Thank you. Ditto.
Is there any further discussion on House Bill 1074? Seeing none, the question before us is the passage of House Bill 1074. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. House Bill 1074 passes. Mr. Kohler, please read the title of House Bill 1059.
House Bill 1059 by Representative Garcia, also Senator Crowder, concerning clarifying that the ritual discharge of blank ammunition cartridges at a military funeral does not constitute the criminal offense of disorderly conduct.
Representative Garcia.
Good morning, Mr. Chair. I move House Bill 1059 in the State Veterans Military Affairs Committee report.
To the committee report, Representative Garcia.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, the committee report received a favorable recommendation and essentially adds a safety clause and clarifies some of the language.
Is there any further discussion on the State Veterans and Military Affairs Committee report? Seeing none, the question before us is the passage of the State Veterans and Military Affairs Committee report. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Committee report passes. To the bill, Representative Garcia.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, I move, Mr. Chair, I would ask for a favorable recommendation on House Bill 1059, which allows for the discharge of blanks for military burials for the purposes of funerals. Received unanimous support out of committee, State Veterans Affairs Committee, and I would ask the House for a favorable recommendation.
Is there any further discussion on House Bill 1059? Representative Garcia has asked for a favorable recommendation. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed say no. House Bill 1059 passes. Mr. Kohler, please read the title of House Bill 1031.
House Bill 1031 by Representative Moreno, concerning the weight of motor vehicles that are subject to rate regulation when being towed without the owner's consent.
Representative Moreno.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move House Bill 1031 and the committee report from Transportation and Energy.
To the Transportation and Energy Committee report, Representative Moreno.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The committee report didn't really change the substance of the bill, just changed who will make the appointments and made some clarifying amendments. Ask for an aye vote.
Is there any further discussion on the Transportation and Energy Committee report? Seeing none, the question before us is the passage of the Transportation and Energy Committee report. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed say no. The Transportation and Energy report passes. To the bill, Representative Moreno.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move Amendment L004.
Amendment L004 has been properly displayed to the amendment. Representative Moreno.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Amendment L004 makes a very technical change. Just lets further specifies that who the task force will advise. Rather than the Department of Regulatory Agencies, they're advising the staff of the commission, just making a very technical change. Ask for an aye vote.
Is there any further discussion on Amendment L004? Seeing none, the question before us is the passage of Amendment L004. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. L004 passes. To the bill, Representative Moreno.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Great bill. Say aye.
Is there any further discussion on House Bill 1031? Representative Everett.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just wanted to point out to the members on page 4, lines 27, and page 5, lines 1 through 3. What we're doing is we're taking away the freedom of law enforcement agencies to negotiate with towing companies. We're setting a fixed fee across the board. What I think this does takes away the freedom and negotiation powers between these companies and between the law enforcement agencies. That allows a lot of flexibility, and because you may live in Delta and it may be a different cost than what it would cost to live in Denver. So I think it takes away that freedom, and I urge a no vote.
Representative Moreno.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And members, just quickly, the Colorado State Patrol actually testified in favor of this bill. They would welcome additional professional experience and advice from the task force, which does include representatives of the towing industry. So they actually were in favor. Ask for an aye vote.
Representative Everett.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yes, we heard from State Patrol. We didn't hear from any local law enforcement agencies, so we don't know if they waited on this. So this bill, I think, is a little premature. Thank you.
Representative Moreno.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And I forgot to mention, members, that local law enforcement also has a position on the task force. Thank you.
Representative Korb.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And we also had testimony from the Colorado Motor Carriers. There's been situations where in these non-consensual tows where someone has come in, taken advantage of the situation, charged as much as $30,000 for a towing job when it should have been done in the $5,000 range. So I ask for your support on this bill.
Is there any further discussion on House Bill 1031? Seeing none, the question before us is the passage of House Bill 1031. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. No. House Bill 1031 passes. Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move that the committee rise and report.
Seeing no objection, the committee will rise and report.
The House will come back to order. Mr. Kohler, please read the report of the Committee of the Whole.
Mr. Speaker, Committee of the Whole begs leave to report as under consideration the following attached bills being second reading thereof and makes the following recommendations thereon. House Bills 1020, 1031 amended, 1059 amended, 1074 amended, passed on second reading in order gross placed on the calendar for third and final passage.
Mr. Assistant Majority Leader. You've heard the motion. There are no amendments at the desk. Mr. Kohler, please open the machine, and members proceed to vote on adoption of the report of the Committee of the Whole.
Firstly, it's making me mad. I'm coming.
Representatives Duran, Janal, Melton, and Waller. Your chair is now all the way in the back wall. It takes you a while. Close the machine. With 63 aye votes, 0 no votes, 2 excused, and 0 absent, the report of the Committee of the Whole is adopted. Message from the Senate.
Mr. Speaker, the Senate has adopted and transmits herewith Senate Joint Resolution 3.
Introduction of resolutions.
Senate Joint Resolution 3 by Senator Koufalos, also Representative Sonnenberg, concerning the designation of Colorado 4-H Day.
Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that the House proceed out of order for immediate consideration of SJR 3.
Seeing no objection, the House will proceed out of order for immediate consideration of SJR 3. Mr. Kohler, please read the title to SJR 3.
Senate Joint Resolution 3 by Senator Kafalis, also Representative Sonnenberg, concerning the designation of Colorado 4-H Day.
Representative Sonnenberg.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And members, it's my honor to move Senate Joint Resolution 003 and ask that it be read at length.
Whereas succeeding generations of well-educated, concerned, and involved youth are required to ensure that America has a competent and innovative workforce, a cohesive social structure, an effective education system, strong leadership, continued economic prosperity, and healthy communities in the years to come. And whereas the Colorado 4-H Youth Development Program is founded on the notion that youth are a vital resource for ensuring a better tomorrow, and that assisting youth as they prepare for the future is the 4-H program's central mission. And whereas the Colorado 4-H program is an integral part of the Colorado State University Extension and is fundamental to the land-grant university mission. And whereas more than 110,000 Colorado youth, with the guidance of nearly 12,000 adult and youth volunteer leaders, currently contribute to their communities and gain practical experience in such subject areas as workforce preparation and career exploration, leadership and volunteerism, character and ethics, food and nutrition, agriculture and natural resources, conservation, consumer decision-making, veterinary medicine, animal sciences, and public speaking, to name just a few. And whereas the 4-H emblem, a green four-leaf clover with a white H on each leaf, represents the characteristics each 4-H participant develops: head, which involves thinking, making decisions, and learning new things; heart, which entails caring about other people, accepting responsibility, and developing positive values; hands, which symbolizes community service and the effort to acquire and perfect new skills; and health, which involves protecting the well-being of the self and others. And whereas Colorado 4-H returns $45 million annually to the Colorado economy, plus $31 million in added value of volunteer time contributions, resulting in a tenfold return on investment over the cost to conduct the program. And whereas an 8-year longitudinal study of positive youth development recently completed by Tufts University demonstrates that 4-H members are less likely to engage in risky behaviors such as drinking, smoking, and drug use, twice as likely to go to college, 3 times more likely to delay sexual activity by grade 12, twice as likely to exercise and be physically active, and 3 times more likely to contribute in their communities than their non-4-H peers. And whereas participation in 4-H in Colorado is open to youth from all economic, social, and cultural backgrounds between the ages of 5 and 19, now, therefore, be it resolved by the Senate of the 69th General Assembly of the State of Colorado, the House of Representatives concurring herein, that the General Assembly salutes the Colorado 4-H program in its efforts to prepare Colorado's youth for the future, providing a wealth of opportunities for young people to acquire decision-making, leadership, and communication skills, as well as a host of other life skills in a hands-on, friendly learning environment. Commends the Colorado State University Extension for its work in supporting the mission for the Colorado 4-H program. Recognizes the invaluable contribution of the thousands of adult volunteers whose efforts enhance the 4-H experience for Colorado youth, acknowledges the significant contribution of 4-H to the Colorado economy, encourages young people in Colorado to get a head start on life by participating in 4-H activities, and declares this day, January 24th, 2014, Colorado 4-H Day, in recognition of the 4-H program's efforts on behalf of Colorado's youth. Be it further resolved that a copy of this joint resolution be sent to Colorado's 4-H Program Leader and Youth Development Programs Director, Jeff Goodwin of Fort Collins.
Representative Sonnenberg.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And members, please feel free to be seated. You know, I look forward to this every year. 4-H has played such a huge role in my life. I don't want you to blame them, but part of the reason I'm here is because of those skills I learned in 4-H. The leadership skills, the speaking skills, understanding that in order to get something done, you got to be self-motivated and get on it and do it yourself, solve the problem, do the project. The thing that I'm excited about as they continue to grow Everybody that is involved in 4-H learns the skills of communication and citizenship, decision-making, those leadership skills it takes, not necessarily to be here, but to survive in life, to be able to stand up and say what is right and what is wrong, whether it be in the workplace, whether it be in the home. The other thing that I thoroughly enjoyed about 4-H and continues today, it is truly a family activity. Parents are involved with their children. Children are working with their parents, seeking advice from their parents, getting help from their parents. And I can tell you, I spent many a long night with my kids because we procrastinated getting those projects done, those record books done on time. But doing the projects was a phenomenal experience as you grow with your family. The other thing that I've enjoyed when I was in 4-H back in the 60s, I know, geez, I heard that. My hearing isn't all gone yet. It was basically a rural organization, rural, activities. Today, I believe there is somewhere in the neighborhood of 10,000 4-H members in Denver. It is now a statewide organization open to the cities, the suburbs, as well as small rural communities. And the great thing about it used to be about livestock and agriculture. Now it's about everything. You heard about veterinary. There's also science, rocketry, wildlife, photography, robotics. Cool stuff. Stuff that keeps these kids involved in their community, keeps them involved in having projects. And I can tell you, as you heard in the resolution, that these kids are less apt to go astray and will be good, solid citizens and leaders. That is why I'm so proud to be a supporter of 4-H. Thank 4-H for what they have contributed to my life, and honored to carry this resolution. Members, I ask for your yes vote, and thank you for your indulgence.
Representative Dorr.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. 4-H in the communities that I represent is such an important part of who they are. It doesn't matter if it's the local activities going on or when there's a call sort of an emergency. I remember just not that long ago, the Black Forest fire was happening, and a lot of the livestock, horses and other animals that were being brought into Elbert County, the 4-H kids showed up to help make sure that those animals being affected by that tragedy were taken care of. And that's part of who they are. That's part of the heart, as we heard about, part of the head. They use their smarts to get things done right. And it's important. And I think, as Representative Sonnenberg alluded to, the fact that now there are like 10,000 4-H members in the city and county of Denver area, they have now become that link from rural Colorado to the urban parts of Colorado, educating the urban parts that agriculture is what gets the food to the markets. Agriculture is what allows us as a state to be who we are and contributes so greatly to our economy. And that's what they're learning today, and they will grow up someday to be the leaders of our state, sit in the seats that we sit in today, and continue that education process so that we do not, one, lose our roots of where we're from, but also continue to become greater and greater as we move on. So I ask for a yes vote on this resolution, and thank you for your time.
Representative Mitch Bush.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you so much, Representative Sonnenberg, for bringing this resolution and for your long and steadfast support of 4-H. As you know, I represent two rural counties, Routt County and Eagle County. 4-H clubs in both counties are very active, and they are the essence of head, heart, hands, and help. the whole community comes together around 4-H. Families come together, teachers come together, businesses come together, and most importantly, our kids, our future. As several speakers have already said, they learn, they act, they do. They take individual responsibility. They do projects that are meaningful, not just to them and their family, but for the entire communities in our rural counties. So I strongly support this resolution, and I'm so proud of all our 4-H kids, but I'm especially proud of the 4-H kids in Routt County and Eagle County.
Representative Lawrence.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I rise in support of this resolution. As the representative for the rural areas of Douglas County and Teller County, we have very active 4-H groups in both counties. And having worked with them and gone to the county fairs and bid on some of the livestock that they take the time to raise each year, you know, they spend time in the morning and afternoon before and after school. They take care of these animals. They keep track of what it costs to raise the animals, what it takes to keep them healthy, what it takes to make sure that they have an animal that they can bring to auction, which to me, you know, being a city kid, I think that would be the hardest thing in the world to do. And talking to those kids and just hearing their stories about the hard work and the time and effort and the business experience that they get from what they do through their 4-H clubs is so important. That's something that is missing in a lot of kids' lives, recognizing that what we enjoy in the cities and what we enjoy when we go to the grocery store, it doesn't just magically appear there. It comes from great effort, a great business experience, and just a lot of work by kids growing up in the agricultural world, and also those urban kids that are being more and more involved in 4-H, whether it's through baking, photography, rocketry, all the different programs that they have that really bring, as Representative Dorr said, you know, the rural and the urban together for just a common experience and a common understanding of how our economy works, how the world works, and what it takes to be successful. And this is such an important program. I absolutely support this. I have purchased a lot of animals at the fairs, and I can tell you that 4-H has cost me a lot of money. But knowing that that money is going to those kids' college educations, that is absolutely the right thing to spend your money on, because they take things seriously. They've worked hard to get where they are, and they know what direction they're heading in. And I think that's something that I hope this program grows even more than it has, because that's an experience that needs to spread out across the state, across the country. That's something that we really need for our society to grow with. So I absolutely support this resolution and ask for your support.
Representative Labuda.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And members, I rise in support of this resolution. I grew up in an earlier time. I grew up in a small South Texas town that was surrounded by farms and ranches, and those kids who were from farms and ranches talked about the 4-H activities all the time, and I couldn't join. So I am supportive of this resolution, because if I were a kid now, I could join. Thank you.
Representative Stevens.
Well, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, members, and I rise in strong support for Senate Joint Resolution 003. You know, a number of years ago, I had one of my constituents who was a 4-H member come to my office and talk to me about what 4-H meant to her. It was probably one of the best conversations I've ever had. She, one might say, is an overachiever. She's a natural leader. She told me about her dreams, her visions. She wanted to go to a great school. She was working hard. She wasn't sure at the time how she could afford it. Would she get a scholarship? What was going to happen? And you know, I followed this girl from her freshman year to her senior year, because she made it a point to come to my office every year. And I would hug her and just say, I'm so glad that you're here. And having gone to the receptions for our 4-H members, I will tell you that the leadership that these students are getting, to me, is just amazing. It really is. And also the vision it sets for their life. How they want to change Colorado, how they want to live, how they want to grow and work and become leaders. To me, there's nothing like that. There's not really a price tag one can put on that. And so my little friend is off in college today and doing well. I'm sure she'll be the president someday. And but in the meantime, I want to thank 4-H for the work you've done, for the projects you really start to finish, make sure that our students do. But more than that, for the students themselves, because you really are the life force and the energy behind 4-H, and you are what make it so well. So thanks, Rep. Sonnenberg and Mitz Bush and everybody else who are sponsoring this resolution today.
Representative Fisher.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, I rise in support of this resolution as well, and I want to say how much I appreciate Representative Sonnenberg for bringing it forward. This will be my 8th and final time that we've recognized 4-H here in these chambers, and just want to again reiterate and acknowledge the fact that 4-H is part of the extension function of Colorado State University, which is located in my district. In fact, the extension building is in my district there in Fort Collins, and it's just been one of the greatest privileges of my life to represent a district that has that emanates out into almost every county in the state of Colorado from that office in Fort Collins. And I was pleased this morning to see Lou Swanson and former County Commissioner Cathay Reynolds here in the building, and Jeff Goodwin, who's there in the Fort Collins office, and acknowledge them for all the great work that they did. You know, the land grant mission of Colorado State University includes research, teaching, service, and extension. And that extension function is so important. It's part of what Abraham Lincoln envisioned when he signed the Morrill Act, that our land-grant universities would emanate out into the countrysides and bring to life, really, the research and teaching that was being done at our land-grant universities. And 4-H is definitely a part of that. It wasn't long ago that we celebrated the 100th anniversary of 4-H here in these chambers as well. And I just want to say how proud I am of everyone involved in 4-H and really acknowledge all the great work that you all do. Thank you for being here.
Representative Coram.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I want to thank the 4-H for giving me the opportunity to appreciate Representative Sonnenberg. It happens so rare, but no, I want to thank him for doing that. I'm serious. 4-H is a big part of my communities of Southwest Colorado. But, you know, we've all heard the values and the tributes to 4-H, but let me tell you what 4-H really means to me. I mean, here are the youth of today and the leaders of tomorrow. But I think what they learn in 4-H is the value of hard work, dedication, family. But I think the most important thing that they learn in the years that they're in that program is not everybody wins. You have winners and you have losers. And sometimes, you know, you may have a person that actually started out with maybe perhaps the best calf or sheep in the bunch. Quality breeding. But because they did not dedicate themselves 100% to that animal, it didn't work. They weren't the grand champion. They were down in class. They didn't get the money. So I truly believe that that is what is truly learned in 4-H. Sometimes there's more learned in losing than there is winning, and I think that's very important to recognize.
Representative Buck.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And I also stand in support of Resolution 14003. And I think that I'm standing here with my mother because as I grew up with two older brothers, I got to spend time pen checking the cattle and riding the water trucks and feeding the feed bunks with my brother. 4-H was something that my mom could offset my tomboyishness because I did home economics and sewing and baking. So I stand in support, but more than anything, 4-H teaches youth where our agriculture comes from, and we are 2 generations of knowing where our food comes from. So I stand here totally in support. 4-H is big in Weld County and Larimer County, and I can't thank them enough for all that they do for the youth and our future. So thank you.
Representative Wilson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I too rise in support of this resolution and rise in support of Representative Sonnenberg, which is a unique experience for me also. And I also want to make sure that you all understand that there's someone here that was in 4-H earlier than he was. So, so were my kids, not earlier than he was. But Representative Quorum alluded to the 4-letter word that I think we've forgotten in our world today, and that's work. And that's what these 4-H kids know the value of, and that we learned that many years ago. And that's held us in good standing for a lot of years. It's also, since we talk about schools, and I'm interested in schools, I've also noticed there's another factor about 4-H kids. They're less likely to be obese. They tend to eat a lot and work a lot, and it takes care of that problem. And I've also noticed that they don't need a sign in a plastic bag to pick up after their animals. Urban kids now can learn what rural school kids and rural 4-H people have known all along, and that's that it can be fun to be connected with agriculture, and that's actually a dying breed in America today. If you want something that's going to frighten you, look at the statistics of what it's going to take to feed this world in 2050 and the number of folks that are left to feed the world. That's a frightening thing. I'd close with this, that the 4-H emblem that you see, it's on the 4-leaf clover. That 4-leaf clover, most of us think that stands for good luck, but it stands for good kids. That's what 4-H is all about. I ask you to support this resolution. Thank you.
Representative Singh.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I also rise in strong support of this resolution, and I'm grateful for the knowledge that somebody was in 4-H before Representative Sonnenberg. Weld County is one of the top agricultural product producing counties in not only Colorado, but in the nation. So 4-H is very important to us as well. And we are a couple generations away from the land. We have a very specialized society, and that specialization gives us specializations within specializations, specialized doctors, lawyers, many different professions, but that also produces a disconnect sometimes to our roots. Some folks don't think beyond water comes from a tap and beef comes from the supermarket. So 4-H is very important because it connects tomorrow's leaders with both Colorado's past and its future. Thank you.
Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, is there any objection to taking a voice vote? Seeing none, we'll proceed in that manner. All those in favor of SJR3 say aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. SJR3 is passed. Representative Sonnenberg.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, I move that the current roll call be added as co-sponsors.
Seeing no objection, the current roll call will make co-sponsors of SJR3. Representative Sonnenberg, do you have any introductions you want to make?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And there are so many 4-Hers here. Instead of introducing, what I want to do first is I'll introduce and have the state leadership officer team stand up. We'll welcome them first. So if the state officers would stand up, welcome.
Please continue, Representative Sonnenberg.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And now if I can have all of the other 4-H kids, their leaders, and those who are here as part of that support staff, stand up. Welcome to the chamber.
Thank you, Representative Sonnenberg. Any announcements or introductions? Representative Peniston.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And colleagues, as you sort through your stack of stuff this weekend, will you please be sure to find this gold card in the letter from the Colorado Association of Gifted and Talented and get this card sent in, letting them know what you're willing to do on Gifted Day down here at the Capitol. And if you can't do something that day, it's real helpful if you do go ahead and send us in. It's already stamped for you, will cost you nothing, but it helps them know who to continue to ask for information. So if you'll get this sent in, I would really appreciate it, and so would they.
Representative Salazar.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd just like the Chamber to recognize two excellent students from the Adams County School of Hard Knocks, Chris Castle and Adam Mikowski. Thank you.
That would be $4. You owe $1. That's $4, Representative Salazar. Representative Tyler.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Hey, today is Shout Out for Solar Day. Solar is an important part of the marketplace in Colorado. Over 3,600 people are employed, 350 different companies, and this is what's interesting. The cost of solar is coming down to the extent that Xcel has just put in a purchase for over 140 megawatts of solar at grid parity. Grid parity means it's as cheap as you can buy it as compared to any other way of producing power. We're making progress here for clean, renewable energy Colorado, and please join me to shout out for solar. Thank you.
Representative Riden.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and members. I just want to remind you that Monday is Military and Veterans Appreciation Day here. There will be a reception at 9 a.m. down in the West Foyer that you're invited to come and meet and mingle with our veterans and our active duty military and our National Guard who will be here. And then we'll have some resolutions when we're in session at 10 o'clock. If you have any questions about it, please feel free to contact me. And otherwise, it's supposed to be a little bit snowy and cold, so hopefully we'll have a few folks willing to help some of our elderly veterans get into the building on Monday morning. Thanks so much.
Representative Janal.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, I just wanted to welcome the Larimer County 4-H students that were here and their teacher, Kara Rudnick. But they were in the North Gallery, but they seem to have left. But I just wanted to make you aware that Larimer County 4-Hers as students were here. So thank you.
Thank you. Representative Primavera.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I just wanted to remind the members of the Public Health and Human Services Committee that we will be touring Fort Logan this afternoon at 1:30. It is optional. Other members of the House are welcome to come with us. It should be an interesting tour. Thank you.
Any further announcements or introductions? Seeing none, Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that the House stand in recess until 1 p.m. this afternoon, at which time we will adjourn until Monday, the 27th of January at 10 a.m.
Seeing no objection, the House will stand in recess till 1 p.m. today.